Derrick Hall is the team president and CEO of the Arizona Diamondbacks. And as you were driving into work or driving into Newsmakers Week, you heard
mentioned to me last night that he is coming back for the 2018 season.
So now that you know Larry Fitzgerald is coming back, Derrick Hall, do you have a Paul Goldschmidt contract 10-year extension announcement to make? Is there any news there that you would like to share with us?
How do you top that? I'll tell you what. I do have big news. Yoshi Hirano is throwing a bullpen today. At 10:35.
Nice!
Yes,
Nice!
I'm going to watch Hirano-san. No, that was so great. I'm so excited. First off, I was going to tell you guys how fired up I am because, spring has started tonight. My Devils are hosting the Wildcats. But now Fitz is back?
Yeah.
Come on. How good is that?
It is great.
I got
There's
chills.
no doubt about that, man.
And
How are
you
you
guys
doing?
broke it.
How's it going?
It's going great. Oh, gosh, I can't, here we are. It's baseball time again, and our guys are working hard. You look at the team. They've been out there. They love Salt River Fields, as you know. They've been out there every day for like the last 2 or 3 months. They're ready to go. Mm-hmm. And although position players don't technically get started until Monday, the whole team's been out there. There's a few guys that still have visa issues. That always happens.
Led by Goldie.
Led by Goldie. Yeah, he's the first one in there every morning. He's the last one to leave.
Think about that.
He's unbelievable.
Think about what you just said right there, right? I mean, honestly, these guys that have been out there working out, of course, led by Paul Goldschmidt, of course.
Wolf, it's like
because
what you said about
he's
Fitz.
He's going to do it, right?
Yeah, it's like what you said about Fitz. There's the same type of person, and that's who Goldie is.
That's the next question. Derrick Hall, team president, CEO of the Diamondbacks, joining us in studio. If you missed it today, 7:30 this morning, Steve Wilkes shocked us, the head coach of the Cardinals, saying Larry Fitzgerald is coming back. I
almost turned the car around and just listened for the rest of the show. I'll tell you that.
You know exactly what Fitzgerald means to the Cardinals because I don't want to say you have a Fitz, but because you have Paul Goldschmidt. And we talk, and we still miss Shane Doan, but we've been talking about these three guys for years. What does a Paul Goldschmidt mean? I mean, if this is 10 years from now and Goldie makes an announcement like that, what is it in the interior walls of the Diamondbacks where we don't know? What does a player like a Fitz or a Goldie do for a franchise in-house?
No, Doug, I think he is really – he's Gonzo recreated, too, and reincarnated. I mean, we used to think there's never going to be another Gonzo. And you look up there on that wall and you see number 20, retired, and you wonder if 44 is going to be up there as well because they're the same type of person. They care about their team. Team comes first. They are always well-prepared. They love the fans. They're at the right place at the right time. I mean, Gonzo, like 3 times in his life has been there when a car caught on fire and rescued an old lady. I mean, the guy is just in the right place at the right time, right? But you can't forget Gonzo when you say Fitz and when you say Doan and you say Gonzo. It's incredible that now we've got another one, in Paul Goldschmidt. But I could tell you all 25 guys, if not all 40 guys on that 40-man roster, they get it. They want to be like Paul. They are like Paul. This is a great group of guys. It's not just one. It really is. And I know that sounds cliche. These 25 guys are great.
Douglas, I don't know if you have the sound of Torey Lovello, right? And what Torey Lovello was talking about in terms of turning the page from last year. I don't know if you actually have that sound ready to go.
We want to turn the page on what happened last year. We feel like we built some of this foundation, created a culture, and we just need to pick up from where we left off last year and continue to learn and blossom, embrace the new expectations, and we all know what they are. We accomplished a lot last year, and we're proud of that. But 2018 is a new year.
Yeah, it is, and that is the conundrum right there, right? Because we're in win now mode because of last year. And oh, by the way, forget about last year. This is a brand new year. It's kind of hard to justify, isn't it?
It is. And also, Wolf, because we go back to 2016. We thought we had a good team on paper then, and we just failed. And we had some bad luck. We had injuries. You can list a lot of excuses. We weren't the team that we thought we were going to be. And kudos to this baseball staff that we brought in that said, well, let's keep it together for the most part and see what they can do. Because they did. And we were in a position where at the trade deadline we could get aggressive. I think we're going to be a similar team this year where we're going to be solid. We're going to be competing. Right now at the start of spring, there's usually 30 teams pounding their chest saying we all have a chance to win.
Yeah.
This year, realistically, there's probably 15 that can say that. I think we're in that 15. We're in a very tough division. I think the toughest division. The Giants were embarrassed last year, so they were very aggressive, made a lot of moves. Dodgers are always going to be the class of this division, and the Rockies, we saw what they did last year. So we're going to have to battle again.
I'm not done on Goldie.
All right.
I look at this, and with the Fitz announcement today, we're already worried about Devin Booker. We're already worried about, are you going to get so sick of losing that you won out? We can't stand the fact that the donor isn't playing. The thought of Goldie ever playing in another uniform, does it haunt you? How do you make sure it never happens? Do you have to do so? You still got 2 years of him under control. Everybody else is trying to tell you have to sign him to an extension. Do you have to panic? What do you do with Goldie's future?
No, definitely don't have to panic. You got to enjoy the time that he's here, and we're fortunate that we have him and that he's under control right now. It's no different than when Mike was in here and just said, "Look, if we have conversations, we'd rather keep him to ourselves." That's who Goldie is.
That was what Mike said. Keep him
that's
quiet.
Goldie.
You can open up.
Of course, you guys are good friends, but Goldie he's such a private guy, and he's not concerned about what's going to happen 3 years from now. He's worried about right now in this team. That's another credit to him. That's who he is. But no, you can't imagine Goldie in another uniform because he's homegrown, he's farm raised, and he's always looked good in that D-back uniform. I mean, being a kid and growing up and loving Steve Garvey, I thought, man, I can never see him in another uniform other than a Dodger uniform. And there he was as a Padre, and it kind of sickens you. But, it's just the reality of the game. You just do all you can to keep those players here. And especially when you have a talented team right now that he's in the middle of that lineup of, and you want to win right now for him, with him. And, we'll see what the future brings. But by far, this guy he's who we are. He is our team.
He's unbelievable.
He's amazing.
No doubt about that. There's so many things we want to get into here. So many more things I want to ask you about. But how in the world am I supposed to tell Vetter James that Fernando Rodney is not going to be shooting the arrow anymore?
Yeah, I know. Vetter loved him, and a lot of our fans did. I got to tell you, I never watched him. I could tell you I didn't watch him until that wild card game. I watched him. Our staff used to laugh like, hey, how are you going to sit here in the ninth inning? But when you're in a playoff game, you got to sit there.
Yes.
My deal is, as you guys know, when that ninth inning started and that music, I was already down the back lane, already heading to the freeway because I can't take it.
You are unbelievable.
No, but it was an old
so
thing.
superstitious.
I am superstitious, and the former commissioner, Bud Selig, had said to me, oh, I hated the ninth inning when I was in your position, when I was president of the Brewers, and I could never watch. He said, how do you feel? I said, I hate the ninth. Whether we're ahead or we're behind, I can't stand it. He goes, don't watch it. Get in the car, listen to it on the radio, and if it starts to go bad, turn the radio off. By the time you get home, you're going to feel better. And it's so true. So that's what I do. So Fernando, yes. But now we got three guys at the back of the bullpen. I mean, Vetter James is going to be happy because he knows you can put the ball in any of those three guys' hands, and they're going to compete this spring to see who that closer is. But when you got Boxberger, who's done it, Archie's showing that he can do it, and then you got Hirano, who's one of the greatest closers in Japan's history.
I used to like the commissioner, but if he ever said turn the radio off, not a fan.
Yeah, no. I
not
get
a
that.
fan.
Right.
Derrick Hall, team president, CEO of the Arizona Diamondbacks, joining Doug and Wolf. We were already teasing him earlier if you didn't hear the previous beautiful part of the program. The head coach of the Cardinals, Steve Wilkes, announced that Larry Fitzgerald will return for 2018, so we stuck it to Derrick to give a Paul Goldschmidt contract extension update. But he told us, in favor of Paul being a private man and not wanting to talk about that stuff. You got the Chevrolet D-Backs Fan Fest coming up on Saturday, and I think it was 2 years ago. I'm sitting in the bullpen with Goldie, and I asked him on air, look at all the money that's being thrown around. Why don't you care? I mean, why aren't you demanding contracts? And he goes, it's none of my business. And it was typical Goldie, but even when it's in your face, you don't realize he was almost offended. Like, why would you expect something less of me? Isn't that the way to handle it? The guy's scary nice.
The definition of humility. That's who he is. Plus, he knows he made a commitment at a time that he was really excited about a contract and to be under control for a long time. He's not one of those that says, oh, it's not good enough now. Yep. Let's start over again. He's a man of his word, and he's just, like we've already said it, he is unbelievable.
Yes.
We're so lucky to have him, and, I want to win for that guy.
Absolutely. Now, listen, there's a huge elephant sitting in this room right now, and his name is J.D. Martinez.
And I'm here to announce he's back.
J.D. Martinez, and
yes, you can announce J.D. Martinez is back. This would be great.
Our relationship with you, of course, you are a friend. You are a friend of the program.
Yes,
You're a friend personally, and it's one of the reasons why only you could come in as a friend. We talk about everything else going on,
We do.
except the number one story that everyone else is walking around out there talking about is J.D. Martinez. What can you tell us about where you guys are at and where are your hopes?
It's been great seeing you guys. You guys know you're broadcasting live Saturday, right, at FanFest. Chevy FanFest, right there on the field from noon to 4.
I'm on at 11. Will J.D. Martinez be making an appearance from 11 to 4?
Come on now.
You know what? And it's true. I mean, you guys were laughing about Torrey earlier where he really said nothing, for a long time. And I think we all have to because they've tightened the screws now on what we could say about free agents. I mean, that is the truth. But I will tell you this. Mike Hazen, Jared Porter, Amiel Sade, the entire staff, they are not just just dipping their toes in the water. They're in the deep end when it comes to free agents, trade possibilities. They've got plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D. These guys are all over the map. So they look at the outfield as having a bit of a deficiency. I would say we're even fine. If we did nothing, we're still better than we were opening day last year, and we were a very competitive team to the point where we were able to get aggressive like we talked about at the trade deadline. But I would be surprised if they don't do something in the outfield, be it with a free agent or through trade. I mean, I think at the end of the day, no. At the end of the day, you guys are going to say, okay, we're going to be better on opening day than we were last year. Now we just have to go out and perform.
We're going to get into Pollock, Corbin, and Greinke in a second, but I was shocked that Mike said nothing's on hold. I mean, I do feel like that we're all sitting here waiting for JD to make a decision, because what a bad move it would be if we do have a legitimate shot at JD Martinez, and now we're going to bail, we're going to go get this guy.
Sure, but Doug, what a bad move it would be if we don't have a legitimate shot at a free agent like that and we miss the boat on someone else, or if we're not aggressive on a trade front that can make us equally as impressive on at least on paper.
When we look at 2017, I think one of the really important things was, like it or not, you have a new GM, and you have to think a new GM is looking at a Greinke contract saying, oh my gosh, what is this? And then you have the April you did, and you have the May you did, and it changes everything. Is it fair to say April of 2017 is just as important, and May of 2017 to affect this year's trade deadline? Is the Greinke contract always going to be hanging over the organization for the start of every year?
Those are the right questions, the reason why we addressed them last year. I think the same thing. Nothing has changed, right? So we know where we're strapped. We know how we have to fill out that roster. We know that we have to think about the future as well. But we're in a very competitive window right now, so we hope we're not even addressing that and that we're still getting more aggressive at the trade deadline. And that's where I think we will be. I'm not one to predict or project. You know that. I just think looking at this team, it's so talented, and the way that we addressed it last year, how are we going to make Greinke a better pitcher? How are we going to improve our staff to go from one of the worst pitching staffs, in particular rotations, to one of the best in all of baseball, not just the league? Because our baseball analytics showed we need catchers who are defensive-minded, who care about the pitchers, who like to call games, who understand analytics, and we went out and did that, and we've done it again. So I think we're going to be in a position defensively and pitching-wise that we're going to be in every game. Our offense is solid enough. Now we go, is the humidor going to be in effect? Well, you know what? It's
that's coming.
Okay, but it's going to help our pitchers, I believe, as well. So I don't think it's going to be as much an effect on offense. We've got talented players all around the field. When you talk about Goldie, you talk about Lamb, you talk about Pollock, we've got offense at production. So I think it comes down to pitching and defense. I hope we're not even addressing that this summer, because we're still very competitive and in a position to stretch it and try and do more.
And you think Pollock and Corbin are probably staying too?
Yeah,
there's a lot of trade rumors on those.
Well, yeah, and I think you look at any team and any reporter that's following a team closely, they're going to look at those players that are in their final year and say, if we're not competitive, they're probably going to move them and try and cash in for at least a draft pick or a prospect. That's natural with every team, and that's where they are. They're in the final year of their control.
We're talking to the president and CEO of the Arizona Diamondbacks, Derrick Hall, here on the Doug and Wolf Show. What does win now mean to a team president? What does that mean? What does it look like? How does it change your job?
It really doesn't. I mean, I want to win every year. You know that. And there's some years where it's not as realistic as others, and we've tried, and you've got Band-Aids and patchwork, and you're making late moves trying to improve the team, and you have injuries. I think right now, though, you are one of those teams that has a legitimate chance. So it is a win now, and it's a win next year too, and a win the year after that. It's not like, it's this year or bust. And I have a lot of confidence in the guys that are driving the bus right now, because they are looking 5 years ahead, 10 years ahead. And when you look at their big boards in the rooms, and when you sit there and listen to them and the team that they put together to analyze this team and analyze others out there that we could acquire, wow. I mean, I've got a lot of confidence.
Team president, CEO of the Arizona Diamondbacks, Derrick Hall, joining Doug and Wolf. If you just tuned in, we've tried to squeeze him. Steve Wilkes made the announcement today that Larry Fitzgerald is coming back for 2018 on Newsmakers Week. So we tried to squeeze him for a JD Martinez is coming back update. And right now it's, hey, we're going to be aggressive. We're going to do whatever we can. We got close to cliche, but not quite. It was positive. Cliche. It was positive. Now, the next question is that you mentioned it. The humidor.
Yeah.
Why is it? It's official. I mean, you're going to have a 2018 humidor. That's it. Not building one. It's ready to go.
Yeah, we should have had it last year, and we tried, and we just weren't ready. I think it's something that's been necessary in this environment for really from the start. We probably should have addressed it like the Rockies did early on. And eventually, I think it's going to be a climate control issue throughout all of baseball. That's why baseball's behind this. MLB has said, yeah, we want you to build this as well. So we've got it. They're going to be monitoring it. They're going to operate it and watch it each and every day. It's the right thing to do. Store your baseballs in a climate-controlled environment, and eventually, through a baseball study, as they're going to do all year long, we're going to see where we are. But there should be consistency throughout all of baseball with the feel, with the grip, with the humidity that's involved. And it's only going to help our pitchers. I don't know that it's going to have a dramatic effect on our hitters. It'll have some effect. It should. But overall, our pitchers are going to be so much happier. It's not going to feel like a cue ball. They need to be able to grip that thing.
One of the more brilliant things I think you guys did last year during the summer was the ballpark summer pass.
Yeah.
Is that coming back? Are you going to have anything like that, Dave?
Yeah, we will have some announcements. It was such a hit, Wolf. We'd be crazy not to expand upon that program. So we will at some point. I mean, we even had people that said, hey, we love that 6-pack mini plan. Can you make it more? Some fans said we could afford the summer pass. We could afford the 6 games. We could probably afford more. So we expanded it to 8 games. And this weekend, we're starting with a exclusive look at those 8 games during our Fan Fest. So, I mean, we're listening to fans and what they like, we're going to bring back. This is a fun year because of the 20th anniversary. There's going to be so much celebration all year long. Saturday is when it really starts. People go online. They go to dbacks.com/20. It's the number 20, and it's a way for them to interact all year. They're going to get to vote on the all-time team. We're going to introduce that team on August 4th when we bring back all the alumni for the alumni game. We're going to start opening day. On the 29th, we're going to have representatives from each of our 6 postseason games out there for the first pitch. We've got to give away a tote bag with the anniversary on Saturday. On Sunday, which is so cool, the 31st is actually the 20th anniversary. The actual date with the actual opponent, which was Colorado 20 years ago.
No way.
Yeah, so we're going to reenact on that game on the 31st. The original first pitch, we're going to reenact it for ceremonial first pitch where you got Andy Bennis throwing at Jorge Fabregas with Mike Lansing at the plate. It's so cool. Just the whole year is going to be fun.
Is he live? I mean, can he hit?
They're all going to be. Can Lansing hit? Yeah, he's with us now. He can. I'll tell you what, Laser looks like
he can swing that back.
Man, I'm afraid he will. Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of.
So that's coming up for the 20th anniversary celebration all year long. No chance it's dbacks.com/28. It's 20, right? It's not 28.
What did Tori say? Boy, you guys are. What do you say? You're observant.
I had to admit, that was impressive by the media right there.
It was good. Come on, it's a little bit of a stretch, but Tori's so good. He handled himself so well, and I would say we are so fortunate to have that guy, and you guys got to love him too. Tori is unreal.
No doubt.
He's a big reason for our success last year.
We're really looking forward to coming down to the ballpark.
I can't wait to see you guys.
Better James, I'm telling you right now.
Well, that's different.
Okay?
Yeah, that's
it's coming
regular
down,
season, and I can't wait to see you guys Saturday at the ballpark.
And again, I didn't get the memo, so send it over whenever JD Martinez is scheduled. I want to be there.
Again, I want to announce Larry Fitzgerald is coming back for 2018-19. Yeah, came from me.
What do you want the fans to know about year 20 of the Arizona Diamondbacks?
Well, when you talk about fans, I mean, guys, they made such a difference last year. They could feel that this team was special last year, and they started just piling on, and the crowds were growing. We talked about those 100,000-plus weekends that were getting really big to 120,000. The loudest I've ever heard that stadium was when Archie Bradley hit that triple, and we were all hoping he'd stay at second, but he stretched it into a triple. We still won.
Doesn't it?
It so matters. And I can remember times, you think back to 2001, but then for me, when Goldie hit that home run in 2011, nothing like this. I mean, I've never heard the crowd like they reacted for Archie. It was a big season for us. And I think a big part of that, again, like we mentioned, Mike Hazen and his staff, but also Torey Lovello. These players believe in Torey. I want the fans to know they should believe in Torey and the front office. In addition to that, regardless of how we play, because we can't always control that, they're always going to have the best fan experience and the most affordable product in all of baseball at Chase Field. It's awesome.
98.7 FM, Arizona's sports station.